It was a crisp autumn afternoon in 2001, the kind of day Michael often reserved for his E46 M3. He piloted it through winding canyon roads, the inline-six engine singing a familiar, throaty song. The steering wheel buzzed with road feel, the chassis responding with telepathic precision. This was BMW, an extension of the driver, a machine built for the sheer joy of motion. But as he pulled into his garage, a thought gnawed at him. Whispers of a new design direction, rumors of radical changes from Munich, were starting to emerge. Little did he know, this might be the last truly BMW drive he'd cherish before the world shifted. For decades, BMW's identity was crystal clear. It wasn't just about speed, it was about balance, elegance, and an unwavering focus on the driver. Cars like the E30 M3, the E39 5 Series, and Michael's E46 embodied a design philosophy rooted in functional beauty. Clean lines, a Hofmeister kink that flowed seamlessly, and the iconic twin kidney grille, proportionate, understated, purposeful. The interiors were driver-centric, devoid of unnecessary clutter, every control perfectly placed. This was an era where design served engineering, and engineering served the thrill of driving. By the late 1990s, the automotive landscape was shifting dramatically. The luxury market was exploding, especially in emerging economies. BMW, a relatively niche player compared to giants like Mercedes-Benz, faced pressure to expand its appeal beyond the purist. Executives in Munich saw a need for disruption, a way to stand out in a crowded, increasingly globalized market. The company wanted to shed its conservative image, to be seen as a leader, not a follower. This ambition, fueled by market data, set the stage for a radical transformation. The architect of this impending revolution arrived in 1992, American designer Chris Bangle. His mandate was clear: innovate, challenge convention, and create designs that would define the next generation of BMWs. Bangle believed in flame surfacing, a sculptural approach that introduced convex and concave surfaces, creating dynamic light and shadow play. He wasn't just designing cars, he was designing controversy. For traditionalists, Bangle's philosophy was an assault on everything BMW stood for. For others, it was a bold, necessary step into the future, a much-needed jolt of adrenaline for a brand perceived by some as too predictable. The first true seismic event hit in 2001 with the unveiling of the E65 7 Series. Enthusiasts, accustomed to the elegant simplicity of its predecessors, were aghast. The controversial Bangle but trunk lid, the disjointed headlight design, and the iDrive infotainment system, a technological marvel but a usability nightmare for many, sparked outrage. Car forums exploded. Sales initially suffered, with many loyal customers holding on to their older models. The design, intended to provoke, certainly succeeded, but it also alienated a significant portion of BMW's most passionate advocates. This was a clear signal: the BMW they knew was gone. The E65 7 Series was more than just a design anomaly, it represented a strategic gamble. While initial enthusiast reaction was overwhelmingly negative, BMW's long-term sales figures tell a more nuanced story. The previous generation, the E38, sold around 340,000 units globally over its 7-year run. The E65, despite its initial controversy, managed to sell over 330,000 units during its own 7-year production cycle. This suggests that while purists might have recoiled, a new segment of luxury buyers, perhaps less steeped in traditional BMW values, found its bold new direction appealing. The brand was changing, and so was its customer base. If any single design element defines BMW, it's the kidney grille. Once a subtle, integrated feature, it began an unstoppable expansion during this period. The E30 M3, revered for its clean lines, featured a grille that accounted for roughly 12% of its front fascia's width. By the E65 series, it had swelled to about 18%. This wasn't just aesthetic, it was symbolic. The grille, once a functional air intake, became a dominant, almost aggressive, declaration of presence. For many, this growing statement was a literal visual representation of BMW's departure from its restrained, driver-focused roots. Even after Chris Bangle's departure in 2009, the trajectory of BMW's design continued along a path that many purists found unsettling. Adrian van Hooydonk, Bangle's successor, softened some of the more controversial, flame-surfacing edges, but the overall design language leaned further into visual drama over classic restraint. Cars like the F33 series and F10-5 series were undeniably handsome, yet they began to lose some of the taut, athletic tension that characterized their predecessors. The shark nose disappeared, replaced by more conventional fronts, blurring the lines that once made a BMW instantly recognizable. For enthusiasts like Michael, the true identity of BMW lay not just in its looks, but in how it felt behind the wheel. The early 2000s BMWs were celebrated for their hydraulic power steering, offering direct, unfiltered feedback. Fast forward to the 2010s, and the shift to electric power steering, EPS, became widespread. While improving fuel efficiency, many argued it numbed the driving experience. The weighted, communicative steering of old was replaced by a lighter, more artificial feel. This trade-off, driven by regulatory demands and market preferences for ease of use, severed another crucial emotional link for dedicated drivers. To chase new market segments and boost sales volume, BMW embarked on a rapid expansion of its model lineup. In the 1990s, the core offerings were relatively simple: 3, 5, 7 series, Z models, and a few M variants. By the 2010s, the portfolio had exploded, introducing X-Series SUVs in every size, Gran Turismo variants, Gran Coupes, and front-wheel drive models. This proliferation, while profitable, arguably diluted the brand's clear identity. Was every new model truly the ultimate driving machine, or was BMW simply trying to be everything to everyone? The core message became harder to discern amidst the sheer variety. If Bangle initiated the grille's growth, the late 2010s saw it reach monumental proportions. The G05X5, and especially the G80 M3 or G82 M4, introduced vertically elongated kidney grilles that dominated the front fascia. For many, this wasn't just a design choice, it was a defiant statement, almost a caricature of its former self. Online, the Beaver Teeth's nickname stuck, sparking memes and endless debates. This aggressive new face, some argued, alienated loyal customers even further, prioritizing road presence and shock value over the elegant proportions BMW was once known for. It was a clear line in the sand. Despite the relentless criticism from enthusiasts, BMW's sales figures tell a different, powerful story. In 2000, before the Bangle era fully took hold, BMW sold around 822,000 vehicles globally. Fast forward to 2022, amidst peak grille controversy and electric transitions, that number soared to over 2.4 million units. This massive increase, a nearly threefold growth, suggests that while the brand might have lost its identity for some, it successfully captured new markets and a much larger customer base. The financial imperative clearly trumped sentimental attachment to old design philosophies. Behind every controversial design decision and every shift in driving dynamics lies a stark business reality: profit. Expanding into new segments, designing for broader appeal, and adapting to global tastes were not just creative whims, but strategic necessities. As one automotive analyst famously put it, BMW stopped designing for itself and started designing for the market. The pursuit of volume, particularly in crucial markets like China and the US, meant making compromises that traditionalists found unpalatable. The ultimate driving machine became less about driving purity and more about a luxury statement accessible to a wider demographic. The transition to electric vehicles presented another pivotal moment for BMW's identity. The 9, BMW's flagship electric SUV, epitomizes this new direction. Its radical exterior design, eschewing traditional BMW proportions, and its futuristic, minimalist interior with a massive curved display, push the boundaries further than ever. While innovative, for many, the 9 feels like a complete break from the brand's heritage. Is it still a BMW if it doesn't evoke that familiar connection? Or is this simply BMW's pragmatic adaptation to a new era, shedding the old skin entirely to survive and thrive? For enthusiasts like Michael, the journey has been one of gradual disillusionment. His E46 M3 still sits in the garage, a tangible link to a bygone era. He watches the new models roll out, acknowledging their technological prowess, their undeniable luxury, but feeling an emotional void. The dilemma is real: embrace the new, or cling to the past. The BMW community is fractured, debating whether the brand has simply evolved or irrevocably lost its soul. This isn't just about aesthetics or performance numbers, it's about a deep, almost tribal, connection to what BMW once represented. Can BMW ever reclaim its lost identity, or is it destined to be a high-volume luxury brand among many? Recent concepts, like the Vision New Class, suggest a potential pivot. This concept car features slimmer kidney grilles and a return to simpler, cleaner lines, hinting that BMW might be listening to feedback. Yet, the brand also continues to push boundaries with radical designs and new market segments. The challenge lies in finding a balance, innovating for the future while honoring the legacy that built the brand. It's a tightrope walk between commercial success and the very essence of sheer driving pleasure. The day BMW lost its identity wasn't a single catastrophic event, but a slow, calculated erosion, driven by market forces, ambition, and a bold willingness to reinvent. For Michael and countless others, the visceral connection to the ultimate driving machine has been fractured. While BMW thrives as a luxury powerhouse, the ghost of its former self, that driver-focused, aesthetically restrained icon, still echoes through forums and garages. The question remains, as the automotive world electrifies and digitalizes, will BMW forge a new, compelling identity, or will it remain a brand forever chasing the shadow of its golden era?